When you really stop to think about it, every version of you serves a purpose. And I think that we always think that the version of ourselves that we are right now is either the best or worst version of ourselves. And it's because of the things that we've been through in the past. And we're looking back at those sides of ourselves and looking at how we've grown, how we haven't grown, the things that we've learned, the things that we still feel like we need to learn. But if you really think about it, even in the past, if you weren't the best versions of yourselves to you, if you weren't those versions of yourselves, better or worse, you wouldn't be able to be who you are today. And you needed to be that person at that time. You needed to be what you needed to be to get through whatever it was you were going through. And then once you changed from being that person, you became another version of yourself that you needed to be in that time. And I think we just need to give each other, not even give each other, give ourselves that grace to say, maybe I wasn't the best version of myself at this point, but why was I that person? And if I wasn't that person, would I be able to be who I am now? I think we got to start being grateful for all of our trials and tribulations at the end of the day. That's really what it comes down to. Because how could you have been smart if you weren't stupid first? You know what I mean? How could you have gotten stronger if you weren't weak first? You wouldn't know what you needed. You wouldn't know what you needed to find out if you weren't missing something. I hope I'm saying that the right way because what I'm trying to pretty much say is you only know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. But you can't become a better version of yourself and grow without being that person who doesn't know first. And then once you learn, now you're someone else. But you had to be that first. I say, I wish I was one of those people that just are clueless out here living in the world and are just so unaware of themselves and everything around them because they seem so happy, you know? And when you become aware of the world, of people, of pain, it can cause you to be sad, really angry, you know, because you just realize that life isn't the simple experience that you thought it was at one point. When you really realize what's all happening around you or what people are capable of doing, what how hard life can be capable of being, or how high the highs can be and how low the lows can be, but at the same time, sometimes you're not even aware of how the person you are can affect the people around you in a positive way. Like even if you feel like, okay, I wish I wasn't as self-aware as I am because all it does is cause me anxiety and stress. Maybe you're as strong as you are because you have to be the strong person for the people around you. Maybe it really doesn't even have anything to do with you sometimes. So when you were that person that wasn't the strongest one, you got to look back at that and be thankful for it. Be grateful for it because you couldn't be the strong person you are today without that person, without having been that person. Because now you are using what you know and what you experienced from back then to help you grow in this present time. It's even like when you think about anxiety and when you're able to recognize, well, I'm just having anxiety. I'm just, my mind is just racing right now. And you're able to call it out like that. And you're able to just like not turn it off, but be able to accept that that's what it is and not be worried that, wow, what's wrong with me, or believe these crazy thoughts that you have in your mind. When you know that it's just anxiety, you're able to quiet the noise. And I think that you can only do that by having been a version of yourself that wasn't able to quiet the noise. because you had to learn that that's what the noise was. So I say all that to say, be easy on yourself in this season of change, in this season of growth. Be easy on your past self. Be easy on the people around you that are in that transitional phase of becoming their future self and not being their past self anymore. And let people's past die. I hate when people know you from the past and they feel like they know how you do, how you move, how you think. And it's like, no, this is growth. You either know me now or you don't know me, because those past versions of myself are gone. And all that they were here to do was to make me better. But I'm not them anymore. We're here now. Those people served a purpose. And I'm grateful you got to experience that, so that maybe if you do look at it the right way, you'll know that this is growth. And you could say, oh, I knew you back then when you were doing X, Y, and Z, and look at you now. But don't ever think that this is that or that is this, because that's never going to be the situation when you are constantly growing and you're on a path to being better. Don't ever let anybody keep you in a box or keep you in the past or tell you who they think you are. Acknowledge that that was me. That was the past version of myself. But that past version of myself served a purpose. And the purpose was to become this person that I am today. To learn from those things that I did back then. To know not to repeat the same mistakes. Because all the past versions of ourselves serves a purpose. And the purpose is to become a better version, to learn from your past, but not to let it dictate your future. Not in a negative way. Not to say, okay, these bad things happen to me, so no good things could ever happen to me. No, that's not the case. Because good and bad is also relative. It doesn't always mean bad things happen to you. Things happen to you. Life happened to you. But you never want to be that type of person who someone sees from 10 plus years ago and they see you in the present time and nothing's changed. You never want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. I definitely don't. I always want to grow. And I always want it to be apparent that this is growth. You can't even deny it. You can't confuse it. You can't mistake it at all. But you got to be grateful for where you came from, and don't ever forget where you came from, because all those past versions of yourself, you went through all that for a reason, and you got through it for a reason because you're strong. And your current self is the strongest you've ever been. Whether you know it or not, whether you feel it or not, whether it looks like it or not, it is. Because all that stuff that you've been through in the past, you're still here. And you recognize that you are better than you were yesterday. And you recognize that you are trying. Did the old you know that? Was the old you trying, or was the old you just living? It may feel harder now. It may feel like it's not as fun, like it's more stressful. But that's just because you have more things to lose now. You know what I mean? You have clear, defined goals now. You're not just you're not just here now. Now you actually want to live. You're not just alive anymore. So yeah, things are going to feel like they're not easier, like they're harder. You're going to think that you're not better than you were in the past. You feel like you were happier in the past. You feel like things were easier in the past. But that's just all in your mind. We romanticize the past sometimes to make it better than what it was. Sometimes, in some ways, it was better or it was easier. But I think in the grand scheme of things, if you use your past to heal your present self, to grow, to recognize your faults, your downfalls, and to try to not create the same patterns and mistakes, then I feel like this can be the easiest time of your life because you weren't equipped with the same knowledge you're equipped with now back then. And that's really why it seemed easier. You just have more tools now. But it's how you use the tools that's going to dictate, is this going to be easier than the past or not? So when you think about the past and when you compare it to your present or you compare it to where you're trying to go in the future, give yourself some grace. Allow yourself to accept your past, accept every version of yourself. Don't ever look back and feel like you wasted your time or you were being dumb or you were, you know what I mean, not the best you could be. It all served a purpose. It was all for a reason. And now that we're on our journey to becoming the best version of ourselves, we're using all that to get on the path and stay on the path and to grow. So just remember that when you think about your past selves and you get hard on yourself and you think that the things that you went through in the past maybe didn't need to happen or maybe you should have done something differently, because every single one of our past selves served a purpose.